Hi everyone, it's Christina from the DIYmommy.com, and today I am so excited to finally introduce to you my next huge DIY project, and that is our DIY Camper 2.0. It's sitting out here in our backyard, so first things first, let me just give you a tour of our new RV. Okay, here we go. Welcome to our new camper that we purchased this January. It's a 30-foot fifth wheel and it's a J-Flight by Jamin. We found it secondhand on Facebook Marketplace, and the reason that we purchased this one, the biggest reason, was that it had much more room for our girls to sleep. We have 3 girls and we were specifically looking for something with a bunk room and a pullout, and when we saw this one on Facebook Marketplace, we fell in love. It has a separate bunk room with 4 bunks, so perfect for our 3 girls plus 1 extra spot for reading space, and it has all of the amenities that we need to camp for a very long time. If you follow along on my Instagram or even here in my YouTube community tab, you'll know that I've been humming and hawing about sharing this project because of our current situation with COVID-19, with coronavirus. It's such a weird time and a lot of us are unsure about travel plans. So renovating an RV was kind of an unsure thing for me. But when I polled you guys here on YouTube community tab and also on my Instagram, and I asked you just outright, do you want to see me renovate our new DIY Camper 2.0? You offered so much support and encouragement that I was inspired just to go for it. There's a few reasons why I've decided to go ahead with the renovation of our new RV. The first reason is because a lot of you said you just wanted to see the renovation. You wanted to see the before and the after, and you wanted to be inspired with some DIYs that you could do for your own space. And truly, that's why I do this. That's why I put out videos and blog posts and social media posts, is because I want to inspire people. I want to give people ideas on how they can DIY and decorate on a budget and transform things with a little bit of sweat equity and not too much money. And I think renovating the camper during this current situation where it is extra hard to get supplies, where it's tricky to find money to do this, to be doing this on a budget, I'm hoping it will be inspiring whether you have a camper or whether you're renovating your own home. Reason number 2 why I decided to go ahead with this renovation is because my daughters have had a lot of disappointments over the past month, and I know all of us have, whether we're adults, kids. They're not going to summer camp anymore. They are not seeing their friends. They are not taking swimming lessons this summer. Perhaps we might not even be able to go to a provincial or a federal campground. But them helping me with the renovations and helping me plan, like their bunk room, for example, is going to kind of, my hope is that it will give them that hope that this is not forever, and we have a little something to look forward to. And the final reason number 3 why I wanted to go ahead with this renovation, it's essentially related to number 1, just doing something creative and inspiring, is because I think a lot of the things that I'm going to do in this space can be translated to any space. Whether you have a camper or an RV, whether you want to travel or not, I'm hoping that some of these really budget-friendly DIYs to transform, for example, dated oak cabinets or ways to organize a small space, those can be translated to homes. They don't necessarily have to go for RVs. So I'm planning to do some DIYs in here that can be translated to any space, not just a camper. So those are the reasons why we've decided to go ahead with the renovation. And I, for one, am extremely excited about it. I know it's going to be a ton of work, and it's going to be even more tricky now that, the budget is a lot lower than originally planned and it's very hard to source items. But I think that's going to make it even more interesting, because I don't think you have to have a ton of creativity if you have all the money in the world and if you can source any item you want in the world. But true creativity and innovation comes when you have limits, like budget, like sourcing. So I'm really excited to hopefully inspire you guys as I do this renovation with those limits in place. We purchased this RV back in January, long before coronavirus was ever a thing. Looking back, I mean, we probably wouldn't have purchased it now, but again, I'm looking forward to having this DIY diversion and just sharing some budget-friendly tips with you guys, and just holding on to that hope that we're going to be camping, whether it's in our backyard or in Jasper, Alberta. Either way, I'm looking forward to this. My husband and I had been searching Facebook Marketplace for a few months, ever since we realized that our previous camper had massive water damage in the front of it, in the fifth wheel area right by the hitch. Lots of people are asking us if we're going to be selling our old camper or what we're going to be doing with it. And I think what we're going to do, just for safety's sake, is strip out most everything from there, and for budget's sake, and potentially redo some of it and move it into this camper. That's definitely something to look for when you're getting a new camper. Is water damage is a huge thing. It's very, very common in RVs, travel trailers, and campers. So just make sure that you check all the soft spots and areas in your camper. We knew when we bought our first camper that it did have water damage. We removed the complete back wall in our first DIY camper and replaced it. We knew there was a little bit of water damage by the hitch part, by the part where the master bedroom is, and we decided not to remove that area. I suppose we could still do that and potentially sell it. We don't know yet, but again, because of budget's sake, we want to maybe remove things like the hardware from the first camper, the new mattress that we got, and move it into this camper, just to save some time and some money. Facebook Marketplace and places like Kijiji or secondhand places are fantastic places to look for RVs if you're on a budget, because you can find used RVs and RVs that are a lot less expensive than buying new, especially if you want to do a little bit of DIY. So people always ask me what to search for when you're looking for a used RV. Certainly water damage, check that out. Make sure there's no soft spots. Frame damage, that's a big thing. There's a little bit of frame damage on the corner of this one, but as you know, my husband is super handy. He knows welding and he's an electrician by trade, so he can fix all of those things. You might want to have somebody handy or somebody skilled in the trades to have a look at an RV before you purchase it. Anything else that isn't related to the frame or the structure of the camper is cosmetic, and those are the things that are relatively simple. They're time consuming, but relatively simple to change. And that's mostly what we're doing here. As far as what I want to do to this RV is, my last DIY camper, I did a very safe farmhouse look. So it was a lot of black and white, and then I added the pops of color through accessories throughout the years. This time, I feel like we need a huge mood boost. I think the whole world needs a huge mood boost, and the best way I know how to do that is by adding color. So for this camper, I want to add some color. Yeah, I'm going to paint most of it white again, which I know some of you are going to roll your eyes at me because you think it's boring, sterile. I had a whole bunch of those comments on my last camper, but what I know for a fact is that white is going to completely open this camper up. It's going to make it feel so much bigger and brighter and happier than it already is. But then I'm going to add some color. I truly want to add some of me and my girls' favorite colors, like pink, like mint green, like yellow, and just bring a beautiful, happy family vibe to this whole space. When I use pink in my designs, a lot of you also ask about my husband, and honestly, he doesn't care. As long as things are functional, he doesn't care what I do with the design, which is honestly one of the reasons why I married him. We're gonna add some color. We're gonna make it happy. We're gonna make it cheerful. It's not gonna be farmhouse. I think it's gonna be something like a vintage glam sort of feel. So we're going to add maybe a little accents of brass or gold. We're going to add a little glamour, but a lot of fun to the camper. I'm going to use really inexpensive materials because that's going to be my main goal here, is to think about how I can transform this space in a big way with a small budget. I have two designs for this camper. I'm going to call one the pre-coronavirus design plan, and I'm going to call the second one the revised COVID plan. The first plan was when we purchased the camper before we knew any of this was happening, and you know, our budget wasn't as affected. Originally, I would have liked to completely rip out this sofa here, the dinette. I would have liked to rip out all of the flooring and redo it. But now that our budget is cut, it's not as easy to access material. We're gonna go with plan B. And what I think I'm gonna do is we're gonna do plan B, which is the extremely budget-friendly version of my dream for this camper. But we're gonna make it so that plan A could be done later. So we're gonna have kind of a stage 1 and a stage 2. So for this first stage, what I'm thinking is I want to share with you guys the magic of paint and the magic of budget finishes like peel and stick tile, along with contact paper. And you might remember I used both of those things in our first DIY camper. They held up beautifully over 3 years, so I'm totally gonna do them again. I talked about this on my Instagram stories a while ago, asking you what you would think if I left the carpet and the current lino in here. A lot of you hated that idea. I don't love it either, but when I looked at replacing the whole flooring with my dream flooring for this camper, which would be vinyl plank, it was at least $500 Canadian, and we just don't want to put that out right now for this camper. I'd love to do it later when things have settled down if we can, but I'm considering painting the floor, doing another tile painting video for you guys, because worst case scenario with that, if I don't love it or we are able to put in the flooring after, we can put it right over top of that. So plan A, plan B, I'm hoping to do the quick version first, the budget-friendly version, and then maybe down the road we can do a little bit more of my dream renovation. All right, so that was the introduction to our new DIY Camper 2.0, the tour, my plans, my first thoughts. Let me know what you think of everything down in the comments below. I would love to hear what you think of the camper, what you think of my ideas for the camper, what you think of the possibility of going camping this summers. Do you think we have a good chance of going, or should we just stick with our backyard plans? I would love to know all of that in the comments below. Love to chat with you guys down there. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more DIY and decor ideas on a budget. If you hit that bell to be notified, I'm going to be vlogging about this whole experience all through the next several weeks, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And I'm gonna leave some more videos that I hope you guys will love right up here. First thing I did in our first camper to initiate the reno was take out these cornices. So let's do that just to initiate this DIY. All right, we're gonna pull them off. Oh no, they're totally screwed to the, oh man. Okay, never mind, I need my tools. I thought that was gonna be some sort of epic initiation, but it wasn't.